Inside Out 2 is closer than ever. It seems like Disney has finally answered our prayers. And we already know that new emotions will be swirling in Riley's control room of feelings. This has raised several questions in the minds of millions of fans worldwide, such as, how will each of these new emotions affect Riley's life and her family? Will the new and old emotions be friends or foes? We're going to talk about all of this in this exciting new film. Want to know everything? Stick around until the end of the video. When Disney released the teaser for Inside Out 2, we immediately saw a new, sweet, and quirky emotion that will be part of the new film: anxiety. Seriously, I couldn't imagine a better characterization for the character than what Pixar created. She looks really cool. But along with the teaser, Disney also revealed the names of 3 other emotions and even released a small poster for the new film, which will delve even deeper into Riley's mind as she grows older at the age of 13. In addition to anxiety, the blockbuster animation will bring for our entertainment ennui, envious, and embarrassed. How each of them will act in the film is something very intriguing, and we've discovered more or less how it's going to happen, as in the case of envious. If you've ever heard the saying, looks can be deceiving, you can be sure that it applies to envious. At first glance, you might think, those innocent eyes and tiny hands of hers, she's definitely a very gentle and kind girl. And if you take a closer look, you'll even notice that she has 2 big pink hairpins in her head, which are super cute, just like her big shiny eyes. If you thought that too, we can tell you, you couldn't be more wrong. That's because envious is definitely one of the emotions that can do a lot of harm to those who develop it. Envious also appears when we see someone with something we wish we had too. This happens when, for example, we come in second place or have to share someone's attention with someone else. This means that without a doubt, at some point in the movie, Riley will end up feeling this way and maybe even letting this feeling take over her. Riley could lose a hockey competition, for example, or perhaps have to share the attention of the people she cares about, like her parents, or even Jordan, which could lead to jealousy. It could also happen that Riley compares herself to the popular girls at school, maybe not feeling as pretty as them. Envious always starts small and harmless, but if fed, it grows rapidly and can take over everything and even everyone in the control room of emotions. Why this little girl has the potential to become the biggest villain of all in Inside Out 2. The funny thing is that in the first film, there was already the idea of including the feeling of covetousness, which is basically a form of envious, in the movie. The idea was so debated that even a design of a small character was made. And like the emotion we'll see in Inside Out 2, she would also be an apparently harmless girl and would have green colors, just like envious in the new film. The fact is that envious is a difficult emotion to understand, easy to hide. Maybe that's why she's so small and always full of half-truths. But even for her, there's a glimmer of hope, which is the moment when envious turns into admiration and you look up to the person you like to try to be like them. Maybe this will happen to Riley at some point in the movie too, where she begins to admire her mother and wants to be like her. But, for sure, envious will be the emotion that will cause the most trouble in the film. Mark my words. In addition to envious, there's another emotion that will undoubtedly play a significant role in the film. We're talking about embarrassed. Unlike envious, it's clear that embarrassed is gigantic. It will probably be the biggest and tallest of all the emotions. Just by seeing how his hand passes over envious and lifts the lid where they are underneath, you can tell he's going to be a pretty big character. We also need to talk about how he will behave in Inside Out 2. Because, as we mentioned earlier, unlike envious, who is small and dangerous, he will be large and very harmless, since one of the characteristics of embarrassed is that when we feel it, we want to hide or disappear. But be careful, because embarrassed can be innocent and harmless, as we can feel it when we are with someone we have special feelings for. If there's something that can make someone embarrassed, it's when we're in love. It can also be dangerous and strong enough to prevent us from doing things we need to do. It can also happen that we feel the same thing when we do something we think is wrong and feel embarrassed about it. But when that happens, there's a chance for regret. And with that, we can learn from our mistakes, especially when we look back and laugh at them. And who doesn't like a good old laugh? So, if you're a fan of Pixar and Disney movies, comment down below, #HaHaHa, and also let us know which animated film made you laugh the most recently. We're pretty sure that embarrassed will be the character in the movie that will make us laugh the most. You can count on it. At least that's what we hope. Besides him, another feeling that has left many people intrigued is ennui. Who has never felt ennui in their life? Throw the first stone. But this is definitely a feeling more related to boredom than anything else. You can see in his eyes that he looks like he's saying, "Oh, how boring." Everyone knows that adolescence is the time when parents and children can have different impressions of each other, with teenagers thinking their parents are boring and parents finding teenagers very irritating. Don't believe it? Ask your parents. This often happens because parents confuse the ennui that teenagers feel with pure and simple laziness. Due to ennui, we can become bored and disgusted. But this emotion isn't all bad, as in the moments when we feel the most ennui, that's when we come up with the best ideas to escape boredom and tedious moments. Another point about this new character from Inside Out 2 is that his tone is very similar to that of Fear, as he has a darker shade of purple while Fear is lighter, almost a light lilac. Because of this resemblance and the fact that both emotions have longer noses than all the others, an awesome theory has emerged on the internet suggesting that the two emotions might have some kind of connection. But honestly, I find it highly unlikely, as ennui and fear aren't two emotions that are closely related. In fact, fear is much more related to another emotion that will perhaps be the most present in the new film among the new emotions. We're talking about anxiety. Anxiety is the emotion that typically arises when we feel fear, not of the present, but of the future. Its main characteristics involve insecurity and fear that things won't go as planned or as we'd like. For example, when we're about to take a trip, and since anxiety was the only new emotion explicitly shown in the teaser for Inside Out 2, this means that it may play a very important role in the movie. It's not hard to imagine why, as the hallmark of a 13-year-old going through adolescence is feeling insecure since everything they experience is new and different. Because the unknown always gives that feeling of butterflies in the stomach, which is nothing more than anxiety. And this is something that will happen to Riley quite a bit. Anxiety also likes to show up when we're about to meet someone we really like. And regarding this new emotion, many people are wondering if it will be some kind of leader of this new group of emotions in Inside Out 2, just like Joy is the leader of the emotion group in the first film. That's because, in a way, she's related, even if just a little, to all the new emotions, as is the case with ennui, which can be caused by waiting or delay, which can lead to anxiety. Or someone feel anxious to have the same thing someone else has, which is nothing more than the envious-induced anxiety. But without a doubt, the emotion most related to anxiety, after fear of course, would be embarrassed. This is because the two emotions can perfectly blend together since it's possible to feel both embarrassed about something while being anxious about it at the same time. Pretty crazy, but it's the plain truth. Another point is that the fact that anxiety is carrying suitcases may indicate that she's coming from somewhere else where she already existed, which could perhaps be another emotion control center located on another floor in Riley's mind. And that would be simply amazing, because it would open up a range of options for new emotions to emerge in future movies that would show Riley's growth in high school and maybe even college. After all, this is quite possible, as Pete Docter, the creator and director of the film, said that initially there could be up to 22 emotions in Inside Out. So folks, there's no shortage of emotions to make new movies, and also no shortage of emotions waiting for the release of Inside Out's new movie once and for all. That's because it seems like anxiety has got me, as I can't wait to watch this new Disney Pixar movie as soon as it's released. Please help us out, Disney. Folks, that was the information-packed analysis of the new emotions in Inside Out 2, a movie that's generating a lot of hype. That's why we love talking about it, and since we know you also enjoy entertaining content, we've selected these two videos for you to watch and enjoy. Choose the one you like the most and have a great time.